Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My track guide for the MX5 going around Rudskogen. Let's get into it. For qualifying you want to be all the way on the right to open up turn 1 as much as possible. We can brake really late coming into turn 1 because we're going a bit uphill. I brake as soon as I get to the curb here in front of us, and then you want to turn in so you take a lot of the curb on the inside. That will unsettle the car, and if you take too much you will get a slowdown. But the car can go fully up on the curb on the inside. Once I'm past turn 1, I'll start to accelerate a little bit again until I get to the red and white curb for turn 2. When I get to that, I tap the brake for about 5% really shortly, and then I let the car rotate, keeping it on the curb all the way around. I'll start to apply the throttle as soon as I get to the grass on the inside for turn 2. I'm not going full throttle at once, I am easing a bit into it, just so the car doesn't understeer out. I try to stay with the curb all the way to the end. If I understeer away from it, I have gone on the throttle too early. For turn 3 and 4, for qualifying you want to be all the way on the left again, but in the race being on the right can be very powerful, so keep that in mind when racing. Go out on the curb so you open up as much as possible. I brake halfway between the 100 and the 50 board here, but you don't want to brake too hard because you will unsettle the car. The track is falling away from us and we're going downhill, so my peak brake pressure is about 25 to 30%, but that is only for turn 3. For the turn 3 part you want to get as close as you can to the curb. I also keep the car in 4th until turn 4 just to help stabilize the car a bit. Once I'm past the curb here on the inside for turn 3, I'll start to apply the brake again. And again, don't hit it too hard, it will unsettle the car as I do here. Our goal is to apex in the later part of turn 4, so you'll take the later third of the curb. We do that to open up turn 5 so we can carry more speed. This is gonna take quite a lot of practice because of how unstable the car can get when you get around here. Once I get close to the curb for turn 4, I will apply the throttle. And as I said, the aim is to come out on the right side of the track to help us for turn 5. For turn 5 and 6 we don't have to use the brake at all. I use the throttle to steer the car, and we can cut both curbs going up, so do that. If you take too much you will get a slowdown, and these ones are harsh. Nothing more to it. For turn 7 I use this white line here as my braking marker. As soon as the car passes that, I will brake hard to about 95%. I'll trail the brake all the way off the curb. For qualifying we can open up the corner a little bit to turn the car around, but in the race someone might send it up on your inside, so keep that in mind. So for qualifying I track out to about mid-track before turning the car around again. My apex is just when we go downhill for the little dip before we go up again. Once you're at the curb in the little dip, you should be able to go full throttle and keep it all the way out. If you're battling someone in the race, you want to take a much tighter line. If you get this right, you should be able to ride the curb all the way around until we get out of the top again. There's a little bit of runoff on the outside of turn 8. Use that if necessary, but I do take the curb here on the outside. For turn 10 in qualifying, be all the way on the left, but this is also a place you have to defend in the race. My braking marker is the 50 board here on the right, and I go to 95% brake pressure and trail the brake all the way to the curb. Here I apex in the middle of the corner, and once I get to the apex point, I'll start to apply the throttle again. There's also a bit of runoff outside of turn 10, so we can use that if necessary. Just a heads up because the car can spin quite easy here if you get too aggressive on the throttle. I have done that a couple of times. So ease into the throttle, but don't take too much time because then you will lose quite a lot of momentum coming out. For turn 12 I don't have a clear braking marker for you, but a good indicator is when you lose the inside fence from your FOV, you should probably brake. Not a good marker, but that's one you can use. My peak brake pressure is about 75%. I'm on the brake to when this curb nearly stops, the red and white one we're on now. You want to turn in just before the curb ends, and you want to take a lot of curb on the inside. You can't go on the green stuff with one set of wheels. As soon as I get to this curb on the inside, I'll apply the throttle again. We do have a bit of runoff, but if you touch the grass, you'll get a 1x. Turn 13 I just lift a little bit, and I put one set of wheels on the green stuff. Again, if you cut too much, you'll get a slowdown. For turn 14 I don't have a clear braking marker for you again, but I brake about a car length before the curb here on the inside. My peak brake pressure is about 40%, and I trail the brake all the way to the middle of the corner. I keep the car in second gear all the way around, sticking close to the curb. Once I get to the middle of the corner, I will start to apply the throttle again, but only gradually, because if you just stamp on it, the car will understeer away from the corner. You want to be close to the curb at all time, and when it ends, just track out. And I use the curb here on the outside as well. And that's a lap around Rudskogen in the MX5. The first sector is certainly a great challenge. I hope you're up for it. And that's a time of 1 minute 34 seconds, .2. Hopefully you enjoyed my little track guide. If you did, leave a like down below, consider subscribing as well, and now for the uninterrupted hot laps.